So I'm just in the beginning stages of working on my first commission, which is Zagreus. My patron sent me an image. She had this idea of having Zag holding the Dionysus boon, having it kind of like in his hand. She grew up in wine country, so she wanted to kind of tie that into the character as we were discussing what to have in the background. The first thing that came to mind for me was grapevines. And I had this idea of doing like a trellis, as you see here. The trellis helps to sort of frame the character, kind of similar to what the purpose that the arch served in Nyx. And then we have some grapevines, and I think the grapevines work really well for kind of solving glass problems. With this character, there's a lot of spikes in his hair, a lot of areas where there's a big distance between the character and the edge of the piece. We need to break those up into different pieces of glass. That's what's nice about a grapevine, is we can do that organically. So for example, here with these spikes in his hair, we can't have those just jutting down, but we can just sort of imagine that there's a thin vine kind of creeping down. Again, with this grape cluster here, just another little thin vine to catch that. Using another vine to sort of catch these floating leaves so that they're not just floating in the middle of a piece of glass, which wouldn't work too well. And then these leaves and additional vines to sort of, again, act as a bridge between the character and the edge of the piece. We can't have a giant 20-inch piece of glass, so this allows me to break it up into a series of manageable pieces. So after that, I worked on the glass outline. So here is my first draft of that, just the character and kind of getting an idea of how many pieces it would take to make that character. And then that led to my larger drafts. So this is the actual size of the character. He's going to be 16 inches wide by 20 inches tall. She wants 17 inches wide total, but he's going to have a frame around him, and that's going to consume a half an inch on each side. So I'm making the actual panel 16 inches wide. A rough sketch again of that trellis and the grapevine and the grape bunches, and then my actual template. So I'll be starting to use this today to make my first cuts working on the character. I just got back from the glass shop. I went shopping at Blue Dolphin Glass. They're my local glass supplier here in San Diego. For his skin, I've got this color. This is champagne. It's just a off-white, and I'm trying to get that skin tone. Zagreus has more of a natural tone to his skin than, for example, Nyx did. She was a very pale character, but he has a darker tone, so I think this will be great to sort of capture that. This glass is also very smooth. It has almost no texture, and I think that'll work really well when I'm doing my painting and I'm painting in his features. With Nyx, I think she came out great, but if I had to do it again, I would pick a different piece. For her skin, it just had a little too much texture to it. If you really look up close, there is a little bit of visible texture on her skin. It might actually work in her favor, but with Zag, he's got a large piece of skin with his chest and his neck and a lot of exposed skin, so I really wanted to go with a smooth glass. For his robe, I found this lovely deep red. I think that's going to look really nice. It's got just a little bit of wispiness to it, so we can kind of show the flow of the cloth. Got this nice electric green for his eye. I really wanted to get a nice bright green to really capture that. For his hair, I'm starting with this nice gray. This is actually the exact same shade of gray that I used for Nyx. It just worked out so well. It's called charcoal. It's hard to find dark grays. This is about as dark as you can get before getting to black. And it worked out really well for her. I think it'll work out just as well for him. They have similar things going on in their hair. He's got a little more darker color overall than Nyx, so it'll require a little bit more painting to get some of those darker shades in. For Dionysus, because remember, he's going to be holding Dionysus's boon, and that's a hot pink color. And I found this lovely pink. And then for the leaves in his hair, he's got this sort of orange fading to yellow, or brightening to yellow. So I got this nice streaky orange, autumn flame, and that will fade to this nice yellow. Last but not least, for the white elements, the skulls, his belt, Got this really nice streaky white. It's got just enough texture to it to kind of make it interesting. I think it has an almost bone-like look to it with that hint of yellow. So those were my glass choices to get me started working on Zagreus. I'm gonna start making my first cuts here in a minute and get this piece going. If you'd like to commission a piece, message us through our Etsy store at the web address in the description below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and visit us at our website at jupiter-glass.com.